Good morning, thank you. I visited South Africa with the organisation that I have the privilege to work for, Christian Aid. I've actually visited South Africa a number of times. In one trip, I actually visited in my previous job as a geography teacher. In that trip, I had the privilege of visiting lots of different schools. South Africa is an incredibly inspiring country. The overcoming that has been done of issues of injustice and oppression are quite truly remarkable. And no one encapsulates that inspiration quite so much as Nelson Mandela. And as I arrived into Pretoria in my recent trip, this was what I was met with on the building of the University of South Africa. And this is massive. You cannot enter the administrative capital as Pretoria is without seeing this picture. And those words, education is the great engine of personal development. And there is a real hunger, a real appetite for education. South Africa has truly come a long way, and the truth is it still has a long way to go. I emailed a friend of mine who is a parent in South Africa, who has grown up through the education system in South Africa. And I just thought it would be interesting for you to know, given I imagine that some of you have got up really early this morning to travel here, and you're probably feeling the effects of that, or will as the day goes on. And I asked her, I said, Sonia, I'm speaking to a group of young people about the education system. I've visited different schools, but you're a parent and you've gone through the system, both in apartheid and now post-apartheid. What's a school day like? She says, well, the average school day starts at 7:30 in the morning. I don't know how that feels to you after the early start you've had this morning. She says once a week there's an assembly that involves a devotion. Classes follow until 2 with some 2 breaks. And she says sport is a huge part of schooling in South Africa. Compulsory sport and competitive sport. Depending what season, there would be sports from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for young children and later for olders. South Africa has come a long way. The basic right to education is part of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, that very progressive Bill of Rights in South Africa's Constitution. South Africa gives 20% of its state funding to make education available for all. But the huge issue, and the issue that I was met with as I visited most recently, and I went to visit a school in the suburbs of Pietermaritzburg, and had a conversation with the headmaster there just to see how things had come on from my previous trip. And really the reality of Tanzania that we've heard, where you could have up to about 70 young people in a classroom, was his reality in this rural state school. While funding is given, it is still stretched to the limit. And if I could leave that last sentiment, what and where is the South African education system? The years that young people go through, the 13 years of education, graduating at matric in grade 12, that is available and accessible for the young people of South Africa, but to varying degrees of quality. And that's a message that we've already heard today, as Anne shared with us in terms of the Millennium Development Goal. There are wonderful opportunities for young people in South Africa, but still the issue of race, and primarily the issue of money, prevents many of those young people gaining the quality of education that all should be entitled to. Thank you.